Hey, good evening, everybody. It's me, Lynn Rene MacDonald. We're back. It's been a little 2 weeks since, about 2 weeks since we've seen you guys last. We're here for our live talk forum, here from Virginia Beach, Virginia, live here on Facebook, on my Facebook page, as well as at the Institute for Christ Consciousness and the Copper Dragon here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Okay, it's been some wild times this last few weeks. We got a lot of stuff to talk about for our show. Our show is on donation, as you all know. It is usually on Wednesdays, but it's going to be kind of sporadic throughout the summer. So tonight it is on Thursdays. It's at 7:15. If you want to know when our show is throughout the summer, then please do check on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, Lynn Rene MacDonald. It'll always tell you that there. We usually post it all over our social media for the Copper Dragon and the Institute for Christ Consciousness here in Virginia Beach. I see everybody coming on. Hey guys, great to see you all. Thanks for coming. Our show is on donation, as you guys know. You can donate however way that is best from love that you can, whether it's financially or by sharing what we do or telling people about our shopping center or patronizing our shopping center. However you can do from love to give back is how it works. So thanks, guys. Thanks. And thank you, everybody who donates. We're super grateful, super in any way, shape, or form that you do donate. I'm super grateful, and we are too. So tonight, I have with me Rachel, my usual team. Rachel, Jennifer, and Sophia. We're all here. We are at the shop because we've had so many issues with our normal studio space. They've been doing repairs in there, and now we have to get rid of the mold. And now we've talked about mold and mold toxins and things related that are that in the actually our other space where is the live studio space. So when I say mold toxins, I'm talking about, and toxins, all that stuff has to be eradicated from that space so we can go back into that space and be healthy. So kind of we've set up a makeshift studio here in the shop and at the shopping center in the main building where we would normally not do it. So, but as you know, the last few lives have been from here, and thank you all for coming. I'm super psyched, and I'm just going to ask Rachel who's here, but I just wanted to tell you about a bunch of different things that are topics today, and then I'm going to ask Rachel who's here in a minute, because we did our live advertisement. I'm sure many of you have seen it. This week we're going to talk a little bit about the Titanic, possibly, Bill Gates, genetically altered meat, vaccines, and more. And as always, infinite wisdom. It's on my Facebook ad, as you all know, and have probably seen it up there. All right, it's a carryover from the ideas that we were going to do last week. As you know, in a week, they're not obsolete. They very much pertain to everything that is going on in our lives. So I got my faithful team, Jennifer, Rachel, and Sophia, and I'm going to ask them who's coming. But those are the subject matters for tonight that we're going to talk about, and probably some more. Like I have this book here, Surviving Mold, Life in the Era of Dangerous Buildings, because the truth about autoimmune and all sickness is that we are being poisoned, right? And the truth is, the doctors don't acknowledge it, the world doesn't acknowledge it. So you now have to take your health care into massive consideration in what you do, because it's up to you to make sure that you get well. And this book is proof again that mold is real. The buildings that are all over the country, all over the world, are totally in need of restoration. And what's happening is they are becoming filled with mold, broken down, filled with basically mold sickness. So the buildings that we're living in are sick, and then we are getting sick. That is literally what has happened to my family. This is literally what is happening out there. And why did this happen? Because I asked God for the God's honest truth, as so many of you know, about all health. And the truth is that we're all being poisoned, whether it's through our food, the chemicals out there, mold poisoning, ticks, stealth pathogens, or the poisons in our food, you name it. Like the train accidents, the chemicals in the water. I mean, you name it. It's out there. It's happening. They're doing it. But this is because the whole goal here is to eradicate most of the human race. Right? Why? Because if there's less people, it's easier to control you and make you slaves. And that's a massive part of the goal of the darkness, right? If they make us really, really, really sick, then guess what happens? Then we can't get well. Then we're debilitated. We can't defend ourselves. We can't think properly. We can't physically move. And our life sucks. As I've said before, and I will always say, if you don't have your health, you have nothing. You have nothing. Because when you wake up in the morning and you can't move and you're so sick and you can't eat and you're debilitated, you can't truly live. You cannot truly live. And that's not just me. That's all of us. So universe, it's in the stars that we have been poisoned on all different levels, in all different ways, for all of us. And this kind of poisoning, mold, is a huge part of the massive poisonings that are going on here. Okay? Along with what? Along with the inoculations. Okay, and inoculations from the time when we were younger as well. So this has been going on for a long ass time, and all these toxins build up inside of us. And this is the real truth of sickness. Where they say, oh, well, you have to go to the allopathic doctors, you have to go to the doctors, the traditional way to do it. But they're missing the whole point. The whole point is that your body is self-healing. And if we weren't so poisoned, it could heal itself. But at some point, with all these poisonings, even the medicines they use are poisoning us. It's more chemicals upon chemicals upon chemicals. Right? So this is what's really going on here in the world. And I just wanted to share this with you because we've talked about it in the past, on and off. And this is yet again, another battle, because it wasn't just in our home, it's in our business, right? It's in our business, in all the spaces in our business, right? So particularly this one space at this time that we have, then we're clearing it out. And it's crazy because not only do we have to treat ourselves, but we have to treat the whole entire environment, right? We have to get rid of the mold itself to change everything. If you don't get rid of the mold, you get reinfected. And that's what happened with Sophia when she kept going into the space, and we're doing a live show there. And all of us. And we all started to not feel good after every time we went into our traditional studio space after the show. Sophia would start to get seizures again. Couldn't think, had neurological effects or symptoms. Horrible, horrible stuff. This is no joke. That's why we're talking about it. Because I asked God for the God's honest truth about all health and how to be well. And this had to happen to us for me to get those answers. Because more often than not, we don't hear, we don't listen until we are actually living it in Earth World. With great suffering comes great amazing gifts and great amazing things from higher knowing of God. That's the whole nature of Earth World. When we're thick, right, and we can't get it in the space that we're in, universe, God, and love, all the same thing, brings it to us in our reality, because that's how it truly works. Can't get it? You'll get it in your reality, all right? So, and this is what the show is about. It's about higher knowing. It's a live Q&A. It's about talking about all these things that we're talking about right now, all right? So our other space is all up, getting repaired, and it's going to take a little while probably before we get back in there. So we're going to do the show here tonight, and we are doing much better. All right, and we're going to talk about into the future how to heal yourself from multiple poisons, because this is exactly what we're doing. And when you've been poisoned all your life, and that's part of the problem, you think you want to be better, like the magic pill in 5 minutes, when you can't be better in 5 minutes, right? You can do all this metaphysical work, and you can do all these medicines, right? But it's not going to be 5 minutes. Like when you in the past, you could take antibiotics, right? And you get well from some kind of bacterial infection, right? And you were pretty much on your way back in a few days, right? Not like that anymore. Not like that. And truth is, it's never been like that. The truth is, all the underlying toxins has always been there. And your body has been doing a wonderful job fighting off those poisons, right? But until it can no longer do that anymore, and you get more and more and more severe symptoms. And what people don't realize is that dinging in your ears or ringing in your ears, right, is a symptom. Constant itchiness is a symptom. Skin boils is a symptom, right? Acne is a symptom. Psoriasis is a symptom. Eczema is a symptom, right? There's all these different symptoms. Being overweight is a symptom, right? And watery eyes, dry eyes, congestion, right? There's 1,000,001 different symptoms for 1,000,001 allopathic names for diseases, right? And they're all the same fucking symptoms. So how the hell are they going to figure it out? That's the whole thing here. The whole thing is they can't. They can't. Because in order to figure it out, you got to go here. Higher knowing. Talk to God. Talk to love. Work with love. To get your God's honest truth of all the answers for your best health and everything in your life. No matter what it is. No matter what. I don't know something. I'm like, okay, God, okay, universe, okay, love. Angels, what's the answer to this? What's the God's honest truth? So that's why we're talking about this tonight. I've told you all along we're going to do health segments. All right, and this is to let you know what's again going on here. We eradicate the poisons. We treat ourselves with vitamin, minerals, and herbs, and as natural as possible. Sometimes the poisons are too much, and we have to go to allopathic medicine to assist us with the answers that we need. But we definitely need a health advocate if you can't do it yourself. And either way, I always advise that for everybody. When you go to now the emergency rooms and the old world allopathic healthcare medicine field, right? I advise it that you have an advocate. And the reason for this is because it is so broken, the system. They are so set in their ways, and you have to make sure that you know what's going on to make the best choices for you. And always, always, always talk with God. Talk with love. You know that's what we do. That's what the show is about. That's what we teach. That's how we live our lives. And we teach you guys and give you guys the tools to live your greatest life from the space of living with working with love, working with God, working with universe, working with angels. And that's how you will have your best health. I didn't just become sick because woe is me and that's my lot in life. No, because I'm out of the box, so much so that I ask God to know the God's honest truth in health and why I've been sick all my life on and off with all these kind of weirdo fucking symptoms, right? And what the hell is going on? I said, God, I need to know the God's honest truth to make me well, my family well, the God's honest truth in health and what is going on here, right? And I asked for that a long ass time ago. And then it was time. And that's why our whole story is the way it is. That's a big chunk of it. That's why this happened, right? Because I had to actually live it in earth world to get it, because the doctors out here don't believe it in allopathic medicine. Very, very few do. And then the ones that do treat mold and toxins such as Lyme's disease and tick-related disease, go look at it. It's anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 and beyond to get the fucking care that you need. I mean, we are living in a world of complete insanity. Not to mention the prices in allopathic medicine of the ER, 3 visits to the ER, $1,500 a piece if you don't have insurance. And then if you do, you're a slave to the insurance and you're never going to get better because the doctors and you are always trying to get the best deal in your healthcare and not have to pay for your healthcare. And your healthcare should be number one. Number one. Because if you can't fucking feel good, you're fucked. You have no life. You guys not agree? Yeah, I'm living it. We're living it. Yeah. And slowly but surely, thanks to God, love, universe, and all the wisdom that I'm constantly working with, talking to God, talking to universe for and with, right? We are getting better. And those are the gifts I want to share with you so you guys can be better no matter what. And that's what we're doing also in the show, and it's super huge. And it doesn't mean that all allopathic, as I've said before, is bad for you. Sometimes we get so sick that we need open heart surgery. Sometimes we need x-rays. Sometimes we need blood tests. So we use that medicine, and then we always go with this. We come back to this. Working with God, working with homeopathic, alternative medicine. Because the medicine for mold, right, for mold sickness is not just internal, and it's not just vitamins, minerals, and herbs. It's way beyond that. It is way beyond that. It's addressing the sickness in your house with air fresheners and getting rid of the mold. Everyone says out there in the shit that you read, right, they're like, oh, the first way to cure mold sickness is just get rid of the mold and that's it. Oh no, it's way beyond that. There are souls that are super sensitive, right? And that's at least half the people in the United States. At least half. That's what universe tells me. And here's what you need to know. Every fucking autoimmune disease out there, every single disease out there is related to being poisoned too much. Because if your body is healthy, those patterns, and you are healthy, those patterns will not manifest in your reality as sickness. Can't happen that way, right? Yeah, fascinating stuff. So what they don't tell you is you got to treat your house. You got to treat yourself in the things that you do. Like sometimes I have to lay down in the middle of the day because I got to rest. That's part of treating me for my health, right? Everybody just thinks, oh, you just take your medicine and you go on. No, you have to rest. You have to make sure you get enough sleep. You have to make sure you balance. You got to watch what you eat. These are all the things that have to be addressed when we're sick, right? And we're going to get into all of these into the future. I'm kind of debating on so many different things with universe at these times because it's such radical changes and we're going in so many different directions, you know, but universe will guide us to all the answers. If we don't do the health stuff on this show, we will do it more on another show where we again go back to 6 and 9 Medical Intuitive where we answer all your healthcare questions, but you can also answer them here. So this is really important, just like getting fresh air and exercise and so many different things that we already know about, right? But there's millions and infinite. That is God, that is love, that has all the answers here that nobody is talking about and that in the allopathic medicine they won't even acknowledge. And not only will they not acknowledge that, they talk to you like you're stupid. And the best advocate for you is you, because you know when you don't feel good. You know what the symptoms are. Same thing with for your pets. It's the same fucking thing. If you haven't noticed, animals are dying. I used to have my dogs for 15 years. 15 years. Not 5 and 6 and 7. That wasn't the normal lifespan, but now they're like, oh, well, that's just what's happening. No, it's not what's just fucking happening. It's like talking about that sudden adult death syndrome from the you know, that they're talking about. All of a sudden, young people are dying and they're having sudden adult death syndrome. That's bullshit, too. And I talked about it, too, in a little segment in my Facebook page. Why? Because this is so super important. Because this is the bullshit they're trying to feed you people in the toxic darkness. This is all part of that dark matrix. And we got to tell and find out the truth. It's our responsibility for ourselves and our best health, as well as our family and for all the people that we love to see the truth. Because health is in everything. Everything. If you're not happy and you can't live your greatest life, you're not healthy. And that's what freedom is. Freedom is health, believe it or not. It absolutely is. Because you can't defend yourself. You can't live your greatest life. You can't live your dreams. If you can't get off the couch or you're enslaved, you can't. Give me a different way to think about it, huh? It's crazy. World is crazy. But we have all the power to change it. And that's what this show talks about and does and practices and teaches. That the power of love is everything. All right, and that said, all right, so we're getting the mold stuff down there and 129 taken care of. And as soon as we can, we'll go back to our normal studio space. At this time, we cannot till we make sure that the mold is all eradicated from down there. And, you know, the other thing people don't tell you about with the houses, with the air fresheners, they don't talk about mold in the AC units. And people don't have their AC units inspected. They don't have their roof leaks and their house leaks taken care of. And then mark my words, there is mold in there. And then we become sick and we don't know why we're sick. And then the doctor tells us we have autoimmune disease disorder. But they don't know which one, so you better go. So then, you know, the general practitioners and the ERs, they all send you to a specialist who doesn't know fuck either, right? But he just says, okay, well, we're going to give you prednisone and we're going to give you some other medicine that's going to help you with these symptoms. But I'm really sorry, Lynn, we can't help you, but you have autoimmune disease and you have some kind of rheumatic disease because this is what it says in your blood. We don't know exactly what it is. It's a bunch of things, but that's what it is. I'm like, yeah, that's not what it is. My whole family got it, as we talked about, at the same fucking time. It's not that, right? Earth World always shows you the truth, but that doctor can't hear me. Those doctors can't hear me because they're stuck in this way, in this vibration of energy, of allopathic medicine, and that's what the darkness is teaching them. And then they're slaves to the other systems of this is the major medical practice, and if you're going to work for us, this is how we do it, so you have to do it like this. Doesn't matter if you're a doctor or a healer, you will do it like this or you don't have a job, right? That's really the truth, right? Same thing. The pharmaceutical companies run the show, the insurance companies, and the big medical companies, right? So it's time for every single one of you to start looking at a different way to look at your health care if you truly want to be well. Because all of us, if we've been sick on and off our whole entire lives, right? That's how I got here. I tried every fucking thing you could imagine before I got into this God space. Constantly. Couldn't change this, couldn't change that. Nothing would work. Well, when that happens in your life, you have to do something different. That's the definition of insanity with Albert Einstein, right? Yep. When you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a change, that makes you an idiot. Truly. Truly does, right? So, that said, this is all part of what we're going to be talking about in the future. We're going to be talking about so many different things in terms of healing you from the sicknesses that are out there in the world. But it's up to you to do the research, right? And you will be healing yourself. It's not me that heals you. I'm going to share the gifts and tools and wisdom from universe, as I always do, or from God, from love, to help you find your best healthcare path. And I will teach you all about these great, amazing things that have helped us for your best well-being. And you can talk to me about it, about anything, and we will tell you everything you need to know. But don't take it as medical advice. Take it as this is a word from God or love. Okay? Take it as that, and then do your research, and then you research and you feel in your heart and talk to God about what is best for you. Okay? So that's always the way I do things, and I usually know right away, instantly, not usually, always, if somebody is telling me the truth, the God's honest truth, right? You always feel it. You feel when somebody's full of shit or not, right? Okay, so that said, I want to ask Rachel and Jen, who's here today, and if you could tell me who's here so I can say hi.
We got Steve Giltz.
Hi, Steve.
And Stephanie Bard and Nikki Oper.
Hi, guys. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Nick.
And Sarah Sutra and Kathy Wormack and Teresa.
Hey, guys. Hey. Thanks for coming.
I believe that's it for right now.
Okay. And I got my hibiscus peach tea. Fantastic for your lymphatic system and your blood pressure. Look into it. Right? Okay. So that said, tonight we're going to talk about so many different things, but I thought we'll start off with your questions because it's been a few weeks. Maybe you guys have some questions. I thought we'll talk about if we have any last week's questions because we always like to get your questions answered. So do we have any questions, Ray, from last week?
We do, but they're not here right now.
Okay, so we do have questions from last week. We will usually only answer your questions if you've been on the show or where you've asked, and when you are back on the show, so you can listen to the answers. Otherwise, we got to figure out what show it was in that we answered your question, and it gets kind of crazy. So it's just easier for us to do it that way, FYI. Okay, so everybody knows, but we will get to your questions as soon as we can to answer them. That's our goal here. And then if you have any questions from today or anything that I talked about today as well, so far with anything, if you have questions now, questions in your life, this is the time for basically what I call the psychic Q&A. So you guys can answer questions or have questions answered by universe, God, or love. Same thing for your best wisdom and guidance. Okay. All right. So there you have it. Any questions, Ray?
We do. We have Nikki.
Hey, Nick, what's going on?
She said affirmative action has been ruled unconstitutional, and she's wondering what you feel like is going to happen with this.
Okay. All right. I'm sure I know what affirmative action is, but I'm not connecting it because it's not right here on my table. So, do you know what affirmative action is? Can she explain it, or can you guys look it up?
Affirmative action is like if you're of a certain race or a certain sex, you kind of get the job because of that. There's all these legal things that go into it or whatever. But it's like if a white woman, or say a white woman and a white man went up to go get the same job, affirmative action kind of gives the white woman the seat rather than the white man.
Right, so this is like a minority thing, giving minority a chance, right? Okay, yeah, I have heard of this. I understand what you're saying. So she says it's being eradicated?
She said it was ruled unconstitutional.
Well, technically it is. It is unconstitutional if you really want to get into it. But truth of God is that it shouldn't be that way. All right? So you heard me, Nick, and everybody? Right? What is it called? Affirmative action? Yeah. That's a law that really does need to be eradicated. But if they put in a worser law, so to speak, or a more toxic law in place of that, then you have even more trouble. All right? But here's the deal. Here's why I say this. Because really, truth of God or love, the best person for the job is who should get it. And it should never be based on the way that you look. It should be based on the quality of the person that you are and your ability to do that job. Right? All from love, not necessarily the quality of what they think in Earth world, because love is not separate. The law of love is not separate from business. I run into these problems all the time, especially when I first open a business. People would be like, they'd be like, this is business, Lynn. This is business. I'm like, yeah, this is business, but you're spiritual and this is not how you do it. If you come from love, this is not how you do it. Right? So you must be in alignment. Love in your life, you want to be always in alignment with love all the time as much as possible, including business. And this is also why this is so important. It doesn't matter what color you are, what religion, what race, what size, what sexuality you are. If you are the best person for the job, all right, based in love, then you should get the job. And so, because when I'm talking about when I say based in love, the code of ethics of love, right? Doing the right thing from love, not necessarily the same as Earthworld. And it's about honor, integrity, respect, responsibility, accountability, all Capricorn code of ethics, okay? Which will always lead you to your greatest career, and a work ethic where you show up. If you say you're going to call, you're going to call, right? Boundaries, right? So all healthy spaces of these are just a few of these things, but they're the main cores of everything that you need, right? That should be in place of this or part of all of our ways of being in every avenue in our lives, in everything that we are, everything, including business. But this is all where the new world is going to, okay? So everybody knows that, absolutely 110%. The whole world is changing. It is not going to change overnight, just like when you've been poisoned. It's going to take time. You don't get better in 5 fucking minutes because you've been poisoned through layers and layers of poison. So it's going to take patience. It's going to take time. The more you talk to universe and love is how you are going to get through these challenges. When it takes too long, or you feel like it's taken too long, or you feel like you can't get better, or you feel like you're never going to get better, right? These are all tools that you would use for your best life and how to get through no matter what storm you have to go through. And the storm will never be as difficult as when you work with universe and love. In fact, so more often than not, you'll discover that it is in your best interest, everything that you've been through. Just like I talked about how we've been sick for over 4 years, really hardcore with this whole mold sickness and the house thing, and everything that we fucking been through and learned has been incredible. And I thought I was a master powerful healer before. Oh my God, the wisdom that I have now is well worth, and I almost want to kick myself when I say this in my human space, everything that we've been through. Because now, if I thought I knew how to help people before, OMG, I got you. I got you. Yeah. Because universe got me. And how have I been getting through all of that? Constantly working with God. Constantly. Ask and you shall receive. The Christ formula. Okay, God, I can't move today. How do I move? Help me to move. What do I need to do? Do you see? You have all the power here. Okay, but going back to affirmative action. What is Nikki asking? Is she asking anything in particular about it? Or did I answer her question already?
She's asking what you feel like is going to happen, I guess, or what you're
Well, basically, I kind of just gave the answer. Again, everything doesn't happen overnight. All the systems here are crashing, deliberately designed by the darkness, but the darkness thinks that it has a handle on what's going to happen when truly God knows all that is, or God or love, because it is all that is. You can't fool God, right? You can't. And God is all the power. And so this is all part of the grand design of God on the other side of that coin as well. To change the world, to help humanity, to make this a really great place, to eradicate the matrix, really, truly. All right, so this is all part of all the stuff that's going to be crashing, changing, but there will be challenges within this because, there's all these crazy laws that they're trying to put in place while they're diverting your attention to something else, whether it's, that they're legalizing or starting to meet package companies out in California, from what I understand. And please look this up to make sure that this is, what's happening. If not, it is coming. It is coming. All right. But from what I understand, I think I read this. If it wasn't in Epoch Times, but universe brings me to these places. God brings me to these places to see the truth about what's going on. Right. They're going to be infiltrating. There's going to be meat packaging companies that are going to do the genetic meat. So heads up, look into it because they've put this into law, I believe, in California, and it's coming. All right. This is one of the things that came across my feed that I read in either Epoch Times, I think it was, or somewhere. However, it was deliberately put there by universe, right? Because I'm always asking God, what do I need to know? What's the God's honest truth? What do I need to share with the people? What do we need to do for us, for everybody, from love? Okay. So they're going to be those things are all part of when we turn our backs, or we're looking at the submarine accident, or we're looking at this, or we're looking at that, right? And while that's happening, they're putting all these other laws in place, and they're really not laws at all, but because this country's government really has been overtaken. And that's what really is the truth about what is going on. And we've talked about this over and over. And without getting too much into that, know what the Matrix is doing here. Know what the darkness is doing. They're diverting your attention here, and then they're instilling toxic shit over here, like the meat stuff, the genetic meat stuff, right? And it was crazy because we were just eating lunch today, and I think there was chicken that we would get from one restaurant versus chicken from another restaurant. And we can't stand the chicken in this one restaurant, and it's really bizarre, right? And yet the other chicken that's normal, that's more normal, we like that chicken, right? And so we then all of a sudden I have an epiphany with angels and God, right? And they're telling me that's what it's going to be like with the genetic meat. You're going to know the difference when you eat it. You will know. And if you don't, what do? Ask God to know so that you are free of it, so that you don't get all caught up in more toxins and more unwell with that, right? So, but heads up, research it. You know, everything I tell you here, look in Earth World for these things so that you can see what's going on, when it's coming, get all the facts for you. But this is all part of the grand plan of the darkness of what's going on here. All right, so everybody knows. All right, so that said, there was also some other stuff that I'd like to talk about, but we're going to also go into what's the next question, Ray?
Teresa Courtney Lloyd. She's asking for your opinion. She says, I'm always searching for the best things to use for protective/healing measures. I am currently using resveratrol, NAC, D-ribose, and ashwagandha. It's all about cleaning up the toxins.
Yep. And here's the deal, Teresa. Healing is infinite. So one person's formula is not any better than somebody else's. And depending on the vibration that you are at, what works for me and my symptoms might not work for you and your symptoms, or might not work for somebody else, right? Sometimes, somebody will need a little bit of ashwagandha, somebody will need this, somebody needs something different, do you see? But the more tools that you have to detox, the better, especially in this world where you don't know what is coming into the future for sure, because the universe and the energy is always changing. And as the world changes, right, so there are so many things that are in the projected energy that's all around us that could manifest. That said, like, for example, they're talking about food and supplies and not having those things. Well, if I know 10 different ways to detox, whether it's naturally in store-bought items, through food, through whatever, that puts me in a better space through wisdom, because I have more tools to work with if I do become sick or I do need to detox. So it feels to me like you're doing great with those items, okay? Fantastic. But every so often, you want to change it up. Right? So you don't just throw your stuff away. You can store it in there because it lasts way longer than they say it does. Again, everything in Earth World, right, is designed like the expiration dates on food and vitamins and everything that like the FDA and all regulates. This is all part of the dark grand design so that you will spend more money. You won't keep items. That's the same reason they make cars that suck today, right? They make vehicles, they make, everything sucks today. Your washer, your dryer, your appliances, your cell phones, everything sucks and breaks down. Why is that? Why is that? So that they can get you to buy more. They can get you to buy more. And that's what they want to do. They want to keep taking your money, and this is how they rope you in. Just like with our Subaru car. It only has 30,000 miles on it. I think it's like at least 5 years old, right? And this shouldn't be happening to it. The crap that's happening to it. It's like ridiculous. Ridiculous. But this is the way they're building products, and it is all part of the grand design. All right, of this darkness to take advantage of the people, and as well as it is also the loss of code of ethics. I don't give a shit about the product I sell you anymore. I just want to make money. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't care if you really like my product so much or it's very superficial, right? This is what's happening in the world. This is all part of how we have lost our moral code of ethics in this society, and that's all part of the grand design of darkness, right? And they've bought out all the elitists and the money, and they bought out all the companies and central bankers, and then you have China, and all of this shit is all like a giant Rubik's cube of darkness, of all these different things that all this darkness has a hand in. So the best way for you, Teresa, to make sure that you are well is to have all the tools that you could possibly learn and have, right, with your detoxing, with your vitamins, with your minerals, with your herbs, right? And here's what happened with me. You know, we've been taking a whole bunch of different vitamins, right, and minerals and supplements for a long time, and as we've gone through this progression. And I kept feeling like, oh, fuck. I'm like, why can't I fix this? Why am I not getting better? Why am I like getting or holding, or why is this still happening? And what is going on, right? And the whole time I'm like beating myself up, right? You know, trying to figure out why. I'm talking to God. I'm changing this. I'm changing that incessantly, right? And then universe said to me, in fact, just in the last 2 days, I want to say, they said to me that all the supplements that I was using were what is keeping me able to sustain and not get killed by this mold sickness, right? So it's been holding my organs and all of my body functions together so I don't have permanent damage. Incredible stuff. And the whole time I'm sitting here thinking, what the fuck? Why aren't I better now? Why aren't I better now? This shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening. But that's not really the truth. Universe, when we ask God for stuff, guides us to everything we need to hold us together, to help us to heal, so that we can go through the processes that we need to get the wisdom, the gifts, the tools, and everything we need. And my whole life has been about this. My whole fucking life has been about healing and healing me and sickness and unbelievable experiences, which then tells me my destiny is this too as well, right? Yeah. Yeah, my destiny is to be this guy. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone through this. Just like if I was a musician, I'd be playing instruments since I was a little kid. Absolutely. And like Jethro Tull, we were just talking about him. If you review anything from Jethro Tull, look at him. He's a master at so many different instruments. Look at his music. Look at his videos. He's got so many magnificent gifts. And even though he's an old world star, that's irrelevant. The gift of his channeling, his high-end soul mission, is right there in him from when he first came in. Yeah, incredible shit. Go research him, guys. Take a look at it. Take a look at that video on Supersonic. I think I posted it on my page too, because everything I share here in some way, shape, or form is somewhere shared in my social media, because it reflects everything that I'm working on, going through in my life to share with everybody, right? And for our greatest wisdom, gifts, and tools. And that's for all of us. This isn't just indicative to me. This is how it works for everybody. But the reason I'm telling you this, Teresa, and for everybody, is the more work you do, switch it up. There's multiple different ways that I can tell you, or different things to detox. You know, the bentonite clay, the charcoal, the NAC is fabulous. What is it? Quercetin, I think it is. I don't know if I said it right. Again, these are things to look into for detox, all right? Also, dandelion root, garlic and parsley, what else? Apple pectin, all right? These are all tools to look into for your best detoxing, all right? And as well as, again, your diet is super important here, especially when you become inflamed. At this point of the mold sickness, is one of the greatest things that I have learned is that everything inflames you. This is why all of a sudden we get older and we can't eat these things, because we've had a breakdown in our systems that can no longer tolerate that, because we're so fucking inflamed. And breads and pastas and more chemicals, and even certain foods that we would normally think are good for us, we are now either allergic to, have a reaction to, or cannot have at all. Do you see? Because of this total inflammation throughout our bodies, because we're sick with these poisons. So it's super wise to know all of these things, you know, and try different things, because certain things work better for you than others. The same thing also comes in, you know, like kelp and I don't know if it's seaweed, but those things along those lines. Kelp, chlorophyll, is that a chlorophyll? And there's another green thing, spirulina, all of these things too. Fantastic for helping you detox, and as well as giving you what's coming in, a lot of them, nutrition that let's say you might not be getting from your food, because a lot of times what happens is when we become so poisoned, our intestinal tract, or I think it's what do you call it? Or not reproductive, but our digestive system doesn't work right. That's why people get the big bellies, right? Or put on weight. They can't take off weight. They have all these different other symptoms all related to that. Okay. So what happens is your digestion doesn't work right and you can't assimilate the food. So you will need enzymes. You'll need all these different things to help you be well as getting rid of the toxins. Also, there's stuff called biofilm as well. We've talked about this, I think, in several of them as well. And there's different kinds of enzymes that will get you free of biofilms, like lambrokinase. I think it is lambrokinase, and you can buy these too. And just like everything else out in the world, this is really expensive shit. But whatever you can stock up on, get different kinds, and have as much in your arsenal as you possibly can. Because not only will you be able to be helping each other, but you'll have these on stock and in store for you, no matter what happens into the future, which is kind of nice, and your wisdom about these things. So definitely look into all of these things, all right, for adding to your arsenal of detoxing stuff. But all the wisdom that I said with this also goes with that, okay? And it doesn't mean that you can't eat, breads and pastas for the rest of your life, right? We tend to, as human beings, think, oh my God, I can't do that. It's like I tell people that they're not going to have a lover that's going to be a permanent partner for 2 to 3 years, and instantly they're like, 3 years? Oh, fuck, I can't wait 3 years. And really, that's not the way it works. 2 to 3 years, any time in that time frame, it could happen. But as human beings in our pessimistic darkness mode, right, excuse me, we tend to navigate towards the, oh my God, this is miserable and it's never going to happen for me. And that's not the truth here, okay? Hold on a second. Time for more tea. Okay, so God bring us back to any and all best wisdom for Teresa now, please, and everybody here with all this. So you will be able to eat those things again and different things again into the future, but the more homemade, less toxin in it, the better. Okay, and because like I said, you don't know what's coming exactly in the future, and it's in the cards. And whatever happens in all the energy of God or universe is what triggers other things to happen, and things to happen out here in the collective, as well as things in us, in our souls, and in our destinies. Okay, and everything is like a giant puzzle, and goes hand in hand together. Okay, all right, so that, I believe, should answer her question, does it not? Yeah? Okay. Okay, and then added some more stuff too, right?
Sarah Suture also mentioned medicinal mushrooms. I don't know how you
feel
about those.
Yes, medicinal mushrooms are great as well, but the whole thing is, if you are with mold toxins, okay, if you have mold toxins, you generally don't want to have mushrooms. Mushrooms are a form of, I believe it's fungi, if I'm not mistaken. And so that, and there's other certain foods, and I'm going to talk about this into the future, that you do not want to have if you have mold sickness, if you can help it, because that's just going to inflame you. But yes, as a general rule, absolutely. There's lots of mushrooms that do amazing, incredible things, depending on what toxins you got going on. So you're absolutely right, Sarah. But just sharing more wisdom with that, with you guys. Okay, what else we got? Any other comments or questions that come in with this? Anything anyone want to add? Or
Teresa Cornelia basically says that she does do like on and off different ones.
Good,
like you said. Good.
See, you're listening to your intuition, girl. You got this. Okay. All right. So who's next?
I have a question. That's okay.
Rachel has a question. Oh my God. Go ahead.
I was wondering what you feel like is kind of like the spiritual significance, or why somebody would choose to come in as a twin.
All right, so Rachel is asking why somebody would choose to come in as a twin. Well, just like everything that is God, the answers there are infinite. Okay? All right, so what's the God's honest truth there? Well, one thing is to have that experience, right? There is a partner who came in at the same time with you, which most people who are born just by themselves do not have that. So that is a unique experience. It's absolutely a unique experience. But twins comes in multiple different ways, like twin flames, literal twins in Earth world. What is it they call it? Twins that are exactly or almost exactly alike. What is it? Fraternal, and what is it? Identical twins, right? There's all different kinds of those experiences. You see, yeah. And for multiple different reasons, and for your destiny, and to grow with love, and to heal the things that are toxic in you, as well as to live your greatest life with these experiences. You see what I'm saying? And so overall, those would be the reasons why, unless you have something kind of specific when you ask this.
I don't really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you know, I know that you have a twin. I know Nikki has a twin, right? Jennifer and me are a variation of twin energy based on karmic experience, and that's a long story too. Right? For another life, or not another life, from another life, but from this one as well. Jennifer and me have like a twin relationship kind of thing. Okay? So that's another way, and that has to do with karmic things and souls coming into the body at the same time, trying to share the same body, leaving, and then having to have your own body, and at some point when you're sharing in some way, shape, or form the same body, or trying to, then what happens is, as crazy as this sounds, you can have like a twin type of relationship. They will pick up and have some of your characteristics as well. That's another experience that you can have in the energy. And me and Jennifer have that, which is a huge chunk of why we will have some of the battles that we do. I'm sure you and your brother, and I know Nikki and her sister have quite the challenges sometimes, right? But to speak of the truth of this, what I'm talking about for Jennifer and me, right? And when I speak about us being as like twins, all right, it is so that information comes in. It is so based on how many people I have in my life that are twins, and that are my clients that are twins. Do you see? That's universe showing me the truth about everything in Earth world, and it comes back to me right out here in my reality. Do you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. Neat shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else with this?
I do. They talk about like twin telepathy kind of like as a joke as you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if you feel like, because I do feel like that's kind of like a real thing. Like me and my brother, especially when we were younger, very much knew exactly how they were feeling, exactly what they were thinking.
Yeah.
And is that in part because you're born together, so you're more like connected in some way?
Well, yeah. Well, you originally were connected. Just like if Jennifer is in my body when we were younger, she has a lot of the similarities that I have. So there's going to be a connection there. Do you know what I mean? That's also how they know what you would do. But it's also in the family ancestry, right? Like Jennifer will answer the same question I would answer, or have the same reaction from the ancestry. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you ask me something and me and Jennifer will turn and go yes at the same time.
Yeah.
Or yes this, and it'll be the same exact words. Do you see? Yeah. So the answer to that is yes, we all have a telepathy. Depending on the vibration that we're at, we have so many different gifts with the universe, and you don't have to be twins to have that.
Yeah.
All right. So, but you do have a connection, just like a mother-daughter or a mother-baby connection. Absolutely. You know when your kid's in trouble.
Yeah.
You know. Same thing with your pets. You know when there's something wrong. Like that day when I woke up, when we were sitting in the in our office space, and we were having coffee, right? And we're sitting there, and after you fed Samson, and he started to act strange, and I knew instantly what was going on. That's a variation of that same gift.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know. You just fucking know. It's all part of that. It's part of being an empath. It's part of being high in God. It's part of being at whatever level of God you are at. Right? But it's also the natural genetic makeup here in Earth world for like mothers and babies. It's the same thing in nature, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing in nature. That mama's going to do whatever it takes, and there's a massive connection with the baby. The baby just knows through telepathy. Just like if you see dogs and wolves and lions all work in packs, they know what the other guy's going to do. They got a plan, and they exchange through energy. Do you see what I'm saying? Or you could say thoughts if you made it like people world. Do you see what I'm saying? Thoughts, visions, that kind of thing. They absolutely read that energy. And you use and work with that same energy. And it's God. It's your, so when people say animals have intuition or a sixth sense, or what is it they call that? There's a name, instinct. Yep, thank you. That's it, instinct. So when animals have instinct, that is all part of the grand design of God. People have instinct too. right?
Yeah.
When you're walking through a dark alleyway and you feel like somebody's there, that's really, you'll say, well, that was my intuition. Well, intuition and instinct, they're the same fucking thing. That's how you know what it is that you got to know that you need to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so let me see. So does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Anybody else in here? How about you, Sophia? Do you have any questions here in our live audience?
I've been trying to think of one.
Okay. Okay. You need a few minutes?
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
How about you, Jen?
I got nothing. I can't. I had a question earlier in the week, and I can't fucking remember.
Jennifer can't remember her question. All right, so let's ask God that she does remember it, and before the show is over, and we can get to it if that's what's best from love. And thanks God for that for us, because whenever I can't remember something, that's what I always do. Okay, God, what am I talking about? What do I need to know? All right, and especially with like mold sickness and being poisoned, right? If you ever notice people who are really, really sick, they don't think right, they can't talk right, they can't hear right, they don't listen. You know, there's all kinds of crazy neurological things that happen. Tremors, twitches, you know, pins and needles, you know, all kinds of crazy shit. So just know that as well. When people become sick and you can't think right, they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. And so when you have mold sickness and like Jennifer's like, well, I can't remember this. Well, then I ask God, and then universe will bring it right back in. All right. Just sage wisdom for these challenges that we're having, for the tools that we need, working with metaphysical and earth world. Okay. And the laws or code of ethics or universal law here in earth world and metaphysical. Okay. That said, any more for you, Ray? Questions?
No, but we do have Greg Halupa. He was here last week and had a question.
Okay. Hi, Greg. All right. What you got?
He's asking if his dog is going to be in good health. He says he can't handle losing him because his dog means the world to him.
Oh, Greg. I've told you this 1,000,001 times, I feel like, almost. Okay, it hasn't been that many, okay? However, all right, every time the last times we were talking, I think this is probably like the 4th time that you've asked me this, and I'm not upset about it. But what this does is tell me that you're terrified of losing your dog, okay? That is not a good thing. So we got to remove those energies from you, because those fears can create that to happen. That's something that you don't want, we all don't want, right? So let's ask the universe, God, love, to remove these energies in you that are this, that creates this to happen, all right? And all fears of this, and that your dog has the best health, and any attachments you have to this dog that you release in the healthiest, best way from love, and you love the dog in the healthiest, best way, and you're free of those, and you're happy no matter what happens, and that you have many, many long, healthy years with your dog and you from love. And we're going to ask God for this now, please, in this release from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. Thank you, God, for these gifts for Greg now, in his soul, and for all of us in our souls, and when we are, be, say, do, and create, and all that it is, in the best way for us, and all of something better. And thank you, God, for that for us. So, Greg, anytime these fears come in, clear them out. Just say, thanks, love, for me being free of this. Thanks, love, for me being free of that. So you have all the power to change this at any time, okay? And to work with this energy. So when you get afraid, ask the angels to take those fears. Just take those fears and put the best way to be from love. That's all you got to do. Very simply. We already started this work for you. Okay? Because 73 to 78%, if you keep going down this road, you're going to create the very thing that you don't want to happen. Right? The more the people hated Donald Trump, and I use this all the time as an example, the more he was going to be president. The more they threw their hate, their sickness, their madness, their craziness, their anger, they're just toxic, right? The more that happened, and the more they were terrified that he was going to be president, and it was such a bad thing for the country and everything else, the more they created him to be president. Same thing. Everything is energy. And there are two things that always create. It is fear and love, right? Love and fear are the two things that create. So remember that for everybody, because that's how you create the things that you don't want in your life. Just like the more you're afraid of losing your job or having no money or not having the money or not having this or this happening, you know, the more that energy goes to create it. And the other thing that I would like to talk about as well is the submarine incident. You know, I'm sure many of you know about it in reference to this, but but it has everything to do with what we're talking about here with Greg, because it's a variation of this, same thing. All right. So I just gave you all the tools that you need, Greg, but I'm going to just elaborate on this here. The submarine incident that just happened, where there were some billionaire elitists, from what I understand, or billionaires that were labeled that, and are possibly, very possibly so, are that went into a submarine, that small submarine, and then the submarine imploded. Okay, bless you. All right, this is what I'm talking about. And if any of you noticed, there were some really awful, like, jokes posted about this. Like, terrible, terrible things were said about these people dying. And there was, like, no compassion. No compassion. Okay? And that's a problem. That's a fucking problem. So all these people, right? And I even posted something about it on my Facebook page. I said, hey, when you do this, this is what happens for you. Because they said terrible things like, fuck those billionaires and they deserve to die and all this crazy shit. I mean, I'm like, you are playing with such incredible fire in that energy when you do stuff like that. And I posted stuff about it, and I posted stuff to people, and they were like, I don't care. They were like, my life sucks anyways, and I don't care. I'm like, okay. They're like, I don't care, and this is how I want to feel. I'm like, wow. What creepy shit is this? And I'm sure many of you have seen it. It was all over the place. All this toxic, nasty stuff, about, the submarine going down, and such incredible hatred and jealousy. Why? Because they're not millionaires or billionaires. Why? Because they can't do that. Because they don't have those things, and they're resentful, and they're jealous, and they're shitty in those spaces, and they're toxic within themselves, and that's why they can't have abundance. And then they take their unwellness and wail it at these people that they don't even know, right? They did the same shit with Donald Trump. Just a little different variation of this kind of energy. This is what I'm talking about, Greg. Everything is energy, and in different ways this energy goes to different things to manifest it in our reality. So the more those people hated that submarine and posted those stuff, the more that darkness returns to them. And the very things that they don't want to happen, like, let's say, God forbid, the death of their dog, right? Or the death of someone in their family, right? They call that in through the toxic energy and the space of God they are in on a subconscious soul level to heal them, to change this stuff in them. And great suffering usually comes with that. Great suffering. Okay? So this is really important for everybody to know. So before you post nasty shit about anybody or anything, you better check yourself at the door. Because it may be the door to hell that you're walking into. For you. Yeah. No joke. No joke. Right? No joke. All right. So, this is super important. That was another one of the things I wanted to talk about too in tonight's live, because it's really important, especially in these times, because karma is boomeranging hard. It's coming for you like nobody else's business, all right? So if you're not in alignment with love and in the flow of love, your shit's coming back to you. All right, so just everybody know that, and that's how you do it. You talk to the universe. You ask to be free of it. You have a shitty thought. It doesn't mean that bad stuff is going to happen to you in that moment or tomorrow, right? What it means is it's going to go to that energy. You have a shitty thought, clear it out. Ask love to be free of it and put the best way to be in place of this. Thanks God for that for me. It's that fucking simple. But you must be authentic, you must be sincere, and you must truly want that, all right? Because you can't fool God. Can't lie to God. Universe always knows when you're full of shit. Just like I do. And it's just because I can't tell you. I can tell you probably an hour's worth at least of stories of I had to call people on their shit where they go, I'm doing the prayers and I'm doing and I'm doing, and I'm like, well, they're telling me you're not. They're telling me, the angels are telling me you're not. Obviously, you don't really understand what I'm doing, because you wouldn't be saying this to me, because you know that I know, and you wouldn't, and so you wouldn't even play these games with me. But this is how it works, right? This is how love energy works. And I'm not better than anybody. We all have these same gifts. We all have it to whatever extent we want to have it. But the key here is working with higher power. Love. That's it. That's what makes me better than anybody else if I am so. Or if it is so. Do you see? It's because I have these tools by doing that. And I'm not better than anybody. We are all the same. We all have the ability to work with love, to change our lives at whatever capacity, levels, journeys, destinies, whatever it is in our lives that we want to do. We all have this power. So do you, Greg, and so does all of us. Okay? All right. So what else we got, Greg? Jen?
Oh, me? Okay. We have a new person joining us, Jamie Johnson.
Okay. Hey, Jamie Johnson. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming. Thanks for coming.
She was wondering about finding another job.
Okay. All right. Right now, Jamie Johnson, and this is for everybody, we're all going through massive transformation. We have been through so much. All right. The whole world has changed. We've done a total 360. So you now are going to be doing not something totally new and out of the box, but it's definitely going to be different. It's kind of like, to give you an example, me doing the shopping center and talking at spiritual shows and going all over the place before COVID-19, and then we had that whole hiatus where we have to get through all the stuff that we went through in the past 3 or 4 years since COVID began, right? Then we have that, and now we have a whole new world which is emerging, and it's wide open for your dreams, and anything can happen, okay? And this is where you're standing. You're standing at the doorway of your new world, your dreams, your new happiness. Think about all the things that you did before this, because they will be all incorporated in your new job, in your new life, in your new jobs, and in your new destiny. And the new destiny is really about entrepreneurship. Okay, so when you say finding a new job with other companies could be so, but you may do that to balance the energy financially and make sure you have an income. But your true job is in alignment with love and loving what you do and going into those spaces, and it will be multiple jobs or businesses and things that you will do. That is the way of the new world. There will be multiple ways. You see, if you work for a company, they can stop you in the new world, but when you're like wild and out of the box and you're an entrepreneur and you have all these different businesses and all these different things that you can do, just like, you know, the ways of new world currency, there's going to be so many different currencies and things that they just, it's not going to be controllable, right? But that's the nature of God. The nature of God is infinite and it's complete freedom. So into the future, this is where you're standing. You do have time. You will get a job, meaning you will be working on this. I feel like there's going to be some dreams coming to you to give you the ideas of how to piece these things together. Okay, so there's definitely stuff coming in for you with this, all right, just to tell you, and we are all going through this. And then so before COVID, as I was saying, you know, we have the shop and the center. I would go to all over the country and do spiritual shows, and I would speak on stage, and that was before all of this. Then the shop and the center, all these things go together as all part of my life journey and my learning and my growth. And now we are literally going out there with the changes that has happened. As many of you know, we're doing face painting at the ocean front to get out there to the people and our energy and to the children and to the families. But not only are we doing that, we're doing basically our live shows in some way, shape, or form as basically entertainment at the ocean front, but it's truth of God or love. So we are teaching people, and the world is changing and it is opening up. But I couldn't have done that like 6 years ago, but I'm working it out with God. How do I do this? How do I be my greatest me? But never would I have dreamed that I'd be up at the ocean front right on the main strip doing this. Do you see what I'm saying? So these are the things, the ways things will be morphing into the future. And that's not the only thing I do, just like the alternative medicine that we do here. There's multiple things, the face painting, the alternative medicine. I'm an artist, I'm a writer, I'm a healer, right? I do psychic work, I do medium work, I do, dreams. All of these things, Jamie, are your gifts. That's why I'm talking about this, okay? So these things are and will be coming into you with your new spiritual path, and they will mold and mesh with everything that you've done in the past through your whole life, because it is life school that is the greatest school. Life school. That's how I super advanced as what was a master healer to begin with when I came in this reality within the last 4 years. Even way beyond this, the incredible wisdom through experience of the life of the things that I've gone through. And this is for all of us. We have all been through so many things, and it's been no picnic. But this is what you've been through, what we've all been through, and where we are going in the new world. And waves of energy, of new vibrations, all right, of love are all coming in. And we can't stay here without making these internal changes in ourselves. In order for these jobs and these things to come in, and all these ideas and all these things that are you are standing in the doorway of, there's a theme here tonight. The doorway, right? When you're standing in that doorway, there's infinite things that you can do, but you can't see them and you can't get to them, and they will be blocked from you unless you do the work that it requires for you to get to those answers, right? So what do? Ask and you shall receive. But all the things that I said here are all of those things, and it's your job to streamline those for you. All right. So basically, you are super gifted spiritually. I do feel you're going to be doing a lot of these things that we do. And it doesn't mean that you become us. You become you, even if you don't see it right now. And you're going to incorporate all the things that you have done before, life school, into your new destiny. So think about these things. And the most important thing on top of this that I can tell you to think about is think about what you love to do. Think about the things you love to do and what you love to do when you were a child. All right, Jennifer, did she say anything? I heard you laughing.
She said exactly what you said is what she's hoping for, and she's truly grateful, and thank you so much.
Oh, you're super welcome. Super welcome. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for validating all that as well. Appreciate it, because that lets everybody know that we're not charlatans and this shit is real. It helps to let everybody know that. And that's the whole goal here, because if we change the world to love, and God is already working on that, sending in waves of love at different times. So, because if we got it all at once, we'd be in an asylum, right? We would be. So, you got to get it in layers in the energy, and the energies that cannot do this work or cannot basically release what they got that's going on in them is good. They're going to have to leave the planet basically, or go into a different dimension, so to speak, in some way, shape, or form while they're here until they do leave, because this is the grand plan of God. You can't stay at lower vibrations in the energy of love that is coming in. So everybody's going together, no matter what consciousness you are in or of, right? And this is all part of the grand plan to get rid of this incredible darkness. And when we all work with love and we all come from love, they can't stop all of us, which is why I'm going and getting out there at the ocean front and getting around people. I'm teaching them basically variations of what we teach here, and do here, talking to them about their lives, answering their questions, answering, things that nobody knows about for the most part, right? Or very few people in common earth world humanity know about, because that's what we're here to do. And you're one of these superheroes of the universe, just like everybody who tunes into the show or tunes in with us, especially on a consistent basis, or whatever level they need it at, right? All right, is one of those people who has come here to change the world. Because what I do is I'm a teacher for the teachers, and that's what all of you guys are. And we're all part of the same team of high-end consciousness, Christ consciousness, and beyond. And we are here to, right, release this planet from this darkness, okay? And start a whole new way from love here. And it's exciting and it's fun, and it's going to be exciting times, and your whole life is going to change, girl, and it's going to be really super fucking cool. And it's been a lot. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, it's going to be easy and it's simple. It's not. All right, nothing earth world is like easy peasy. And I don't care what anybody says when they say, oh, that guy became famous overnight. Oh no. Oh no. Just like the owner of Spanx, right? From way back when, right? She didn't become a multimillionaire and a business owner, right? In 2 seconds. If you listen to her story, there's a lot more going on there, right? All right. But this is just to tell you guys so you know the truth about these things. And nothing in earth world, it goes really fast in Capricorn's earth world. It takes 9-10 months to really have a baby, and depending on what animal or human beings you are, have a human baby, everything takes time. That's Capricorn. Capricorn or Saturn is father time. It is karma. It is the governor of earth world universal law. Okay, and that's as a general rule. And with everything that is metaphysical, that is God, there are exceptions and variations of this. Sometimes incredible magic happens in Earthworld, and for people like us all the time, because we're metaphysical people, so we can't do things in the traditional way. Like, you would never find me being a traditional Earthworld school teacher or a fireman or a policeman and not doing anything metaphysical or anything else at all, because that's just not who I am. And you cannot not be or deny who you truly are in your heart. And us souls, that's why us souls that are of higher vibration have such a hard time here in Earthworld with so many challenges, is because we try to fit in. We try to do what everyone tells us, and we can't do what everybody tells us, because that's not our destiny here. Our destiny is of higher knowing, and so we must do things in a metaphysical way. And so this is all part of the challenges for all of us, okay, that are high-end spiritual or spiritual in any way, shape, or form. Consciously, you have come in to change the world, and you know this. Do you see what I'm saying? And if you don't know, at some point you will know, because you'll have things like, you'll have dreams and people visit you in dreams. You'll have all the metaphysical gifts. You'll see spirits, you'll talk to spirits, you'll go multi-dimensional. That's one of the reasons I can't fucking stand drugs, especially at this point in my life, whether they're prescription drugs or not, like prednisone, right? I'm so multi-dimensional all the time. Sometimes I have to check myself and be like, where am I? What am I doing? Did I just really see that? What was that? Where was that? And drugs lend themselves to hallucinations and multi-dimensions. I don't need any more of that shit. I got plenty, just in my soul and my gifts as it is. That's why when people say to me, oh, well, I get high to travel transit dimensions and shit. Oh, no. No. If you really want to get it, you're going to go down a different path. And it doesn't mean that you can't go into different dimensions using drugs. You absolutely can. But you definitely, no matter what you're messing with in energies, you definitely need the tools of working with God if you're going to be in your healthiest space of it and have all the infinite gifts of the galactic center of all that is God. Otherwise, you can't have that. It doesn't work like that. Okay? And any kind of drug use in some way, shape, or form is going to be toxic to some degree. But there are times when universe will guide us with our health, like the time I was on prednisone, but it still seriously fucked me up. And so much of that was part of my learning about how Pisces and Neptune in Pisces is some serious business in terms of ODing and doing drugs, even if they're prescription drugs, and how they affect you, right? Because I was like multidimensional. I was driving with my kids, and my kids intuitively picked up that I had no idea where I was. And then all of a sudden, I had no idea where I was, and they knew I had no idea, and they were like, Mom, are you okay? And I knew it was the prednisone. Like, these are the freaky things, that happen, right? So these are the things that you got to be aware of, because, and if you're going to cultivate these gifts, you got to know how to work with them. And the best way to work with them is by working with love, working with God. There is no better way, because that is everything that is, right? Okay, so just to let you know, those are tools to help you with this journey, and all of us as well. Okay, so what else do we got, guys?
We have Sarah Sutra.
Okay. Hey,
She's
Sarah.
asking, what kind of poison do you think they're smoking us out with now? She said she's sick of them trying to kill us. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck, girl? And I see your posts. Your posts are a fucking riot. I don't always get to say anything, all the time, but I see your stuff. Okay, so what are they trying to poison us with now? All right, God, what's the God's honest truth of that? Well, we just talked about the meat. I'm wondering what else is on here, but she's saying in the energy, or what is she saying?
I think just in general, really. I think that she's closer to the wildfires.
Okay, all right. Okay. Well, there's going to be truths in everything. It's a chaotic time. Okay, but not everything is the truth, as we always say. Always ask for the God's honest truth when you want to know something. So what's the God's honest truth about what Sarah is asking? God, can you show me, tell me, give me all the gifts, tools, wisdom of this now, please, for her and everybody and me too, from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for that for us. See, this is how you do it, or can do it. Let's see. Yeah, there, with Pluto really at 0 degrees pretty much between Aquarius and Capricorn, and going back and forth in the stars in the transit, and then Uranus and Taurus. Okay, I think Saturn, I believe Saturn in Pisces right now. Okay, so you have a lot of different stuff going on. All right, a lot of different chaotic energies, okay, in the stars. So this is going to create lots of funky stuff on a personal level, as well as in the collective. So there's going to be real destruction that's of nature, that is God, and then there's going to be real destruction that is like natural, right, nature of God, and then there's going to be real destruction that is facilitated by the darkness. So there's a little of this in everything. And usually if you ask universe, is this smoke toxic, or if that toxic, or they will tell you. And usually they will tell you, your soul connected to God or love will tell you well before it happens. Just like when they did the water here in Virginia Beach, universe had me buy cases and cases and cases of water before they even did the cleansing and put all the toxins in the water here like 3 months ago, right? And they had me do that, and I was like, but I'm not at the train wreck. And I'm thinking, well, maybe that's for the train wreck, but really what ended up happening is because the universe knew that they were going to poison my water here, and that was heads up with my soul not to drink that water. So you will know more likely than not before it even happens, because you will be guided by higher knowing, especially if you work with higher knowing and you are in the flow of love energy in that river. Okay, you will always be super protected in these times by angels, God, love. Doesn't matter what religion you are, as long as you are in your heart or what vibration you are at. If you work with love, you're in that space. Okay? Excuse me. Okay. So you will know well before anything that's poisonous. Some stuff is really poisonous. Some stuff is not. All right. Some stuff is like, when I say not, if it's fire, you're going to have your normal fire toxins, right? Toxins that are related to fires that are not more natural. Okay. But FYI, that's the best way to tell. Usually your soul, the higher you vibrate, the more you clear out shit, the more you do this work, the more you connected to all that is God, and you just fucking know. And the more I do my work, the more I know. And that's for everybody. That ain't just my gift, my little diamond in my pocket. That's every one of us. Every single one of us, right? That's why so many people come in and they sit down and they talk to me and they want a reading, right? And everything I tell them, they're like, well, I knew that already. I knew that. I was feeling like that, because we all fucking know, So anyways, so really, Sarah, this is the truth. There's going to be lots more of this because of what's happening in the transit. Pluto, is about transformation, massive transformation. And it can't not happen. Aquarius is about the new age. Capricorn is about code of ethics, but Capricorn is the OG ruler, or Saturn is the OG ruler of Aquarius. So you have some conflicting energies, as well as energies that are going to keep Earth world in line, right? If you have Saturn for the code of ethics, and then you also have Aquarius, right, for wild, new, amazing, incredible technology, right? So those are some incredible things, and it's about a balance of these spaces from love, right? As soon as you take the love out of AI or technology, you're fucked, right? And that's what they're doing. They're even claiming that they want to make AI and they want to rewrite the Bible and take God out of the Bible. I mean, this is the shit they're doing. Do your homework and take a look at this shit. It's crazy. But here's the deal. Good luck with that. It's like trying to take the girl out of the city, right? The girl lives in the city all her life. You can't take the city out of the girl, right? You're never going to do that. Just like you can't take God out of everything that is, because it is everything, you stupid fucks. It's like, you can't do it. But they're going to try to convince you, just like they're trying to fuck up everybody's sexual identities. Everybody's race, religion, family, code of ethics. I mean, this is all underneath. This is all the grand plan to destroy everything here, right? But if you keep in alignment with love, all right, all your answers are always going to be right there, and you will know. And so that is your answer. To say, I can't really say one, smoke screen, because I'm not in that space where you are. I could go over there and get in that space and I can tell you probably, right off the bat what God is telling me, right? But it's variations. It's variations because there's truth in everything, right? There's truth in everything. Like, just like this incredible darkness, people go, oh, well, it's the battle of dark and light. It is, but there's so many different dark entities and there's dark energy in us that must go, right? And we're cleansing that out of our family lineage. That's the ancestral healing classes that I've been doing, or energy sessions once a week, every single week, guided by the stars and our ancestry to heal the family line, right? For decades to come, to bring in higher souls of love energy. And this is what you're here to do, and all of us. By healing us, we heal into the future. We raise the planet in vibrational love. So the new souls that come in through the avenues of people in this reality cannot not be of higher knowing, right? They will not get stuck in the same places that all the people we know, let's say, who are shotted or inoculated or have challenges in getting into any kind of a higher knowing space from love, right? Within humanity. But that's, again, like that's why we're here, is to change all these things and to change these family lineages. And you decided that you were going to do this in this family line, just like me, for our families. And because we're master healers, and this is all part of the grand design of everything that is God. And for every measure that darkness has, there is a countermeasure from love. Make no mistake about it. And infinite. And when anybody thinks that God or love does not know what's going on, that's impossible, because love is everything. You see? Okay. All right. So I hope that answers your questions in the best way for you from love. All right. So who's next, Ray? Or Jen?
Oriah Faithful's here tonight.
Oh, hi, Oriah. Good to see you here. Totally good. Yeah.
She's super excited.
I love you, girl.
She's super excited, and she says, keep on keeping on and doing the work, and she's so excited every time she tunes in and connects.
Cool. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you come on the show and our people. I'm stoked. And thank you, everybody, for coming on the show, supporting what we do, sharing what we do, and being part of it. We're a team. We're a team, and it's us who's going to change the world from love, and I'm stoked. I'm excited. And anything you guys want to share here, please do. That's what this is about. It's about building a community. And again, thanks. Thanks, girl. All right.
So her question, she's wondering, will I come into a large lump sum of money instantaneously in the near future?
I would love to tell you yes, but the answer is right now, in the space of God that you are in, no. All right. Now, there's multiple reasons for this. This is about a new world of, and about the world that has always kind of been in the code of ethics of Saturn. This is about your second house. This is about placements in your second house in the astrology, in your original natal chart and your subconscious natal chart in your soul. This will tell the story, but there's multiple placements in here. The part of fortune in your natal chart will tell you the story, and your north and south nodes will tell you the story of where you need to go. And your Chiron and your Black Moon Lilith in these charts will show you a massive amount of the stuff that it behooves you to get free of, so that you can bring in the abundance that you want to bring in. So the reason I say no is because there is massive amounts of work here on you or with you that needs to get done before you can get to those spaces. And Saturn, and this is really a good thing, because Saturn doesn't allow anybody to skate, and it's no picnic, but the rewards of Saturn are incredible, right? The rewards of Saturn are huge abundance, right? Excellent code of ethics, excellent ability to work, have dreams, build a business, build a legacy, right? And have infinite abundance, right? But it does not come overnight. And that's really how Earth world is, right? People think, oh, well, I just want to sit on the couch and I don't want to work, or I don't want to do anything, or, you know what I mean? And that's not how it works here. So you can't skate. You can try, but you can't. Because that's not how it works. It doesn't mean that you won't have money coming in. You will. Clear your blocks that stop that. Ask the universe for everything that you need. But it would behoove you to take a look at your chart. You can PM me. I'll help you with it, and I'll tell you. And we can actually do that work here on the show, where we can do it together. I will help you, You know, girl. You know. All right. So with the finances and stuff, and we're all. But here's also what everyone needs to know too. Uranus and Taurus is reevaluating our worth and our values, and that's where your major money house is on your chart. It's also your 6th house and your 10th house. Okay. And of course, then there's your 8th and your 4th house for family, destiny, inheritances and things like that. There's multiple different things here that have to do with money. Okay. But you can look into all of these spaces and find out the answers that you need for you. You can clear these blocks out. You can also create using these energies, right? So let's say Mercury retrograde, during a Mercury retrograde, you got $5,000 from, winning something. Then you can create that again with the energy of the stars. Ask love that they bring you $5,000 in the best way from love. And this will happen, has a greater propensity, 73 to 78% to happen. If you continually work with God, do your work, ask and you shall receive, come from love, clear your blocks, ask that you're happy no matter what happens, and then it is so. Okay. So there are your answers, girl. And this Uranus and Taurus, like I said, we are all going through very, very rough financial times, right? I call it like for many of us, it's like we're abundant, but we got no cash. It's like, well, how do I pay the bills? How do I do this? How do I do that? We're abundant in different ways. And what do we value? What do we not value? What is our worth? What is our worth and value? Okay. That's the 2nd house again. So Uranus, and that's what the CB, the central bank digital currency is, right? That is all part of this Uranus and Taurus energy of revamping the financial system here. And then there's going to be layers and layers and layers of trade and barter and commerce that they're just not going to be able to control. The more you try to control shit, the more everything gets out of hand. That's the nature of God. The more you have to have it this way. Yeah, not going to happen, right? But all of these things are interrelated, to that 2nd house, to Taurus, to Uranus and Taurus, explosions, fuck storms of explosions and finances. Many of us will be finding ourselves having trouble with our cars, not being able to get a job, not having enough money no matter what you do. Then there's this bill and that bill and this bill and that bill. It's out of control. It is out of control, and we're all going through it. And the best way that you can do is to work on your stuff and work with God and ask universe or love for everything that you need. And this will get you through these tough times. But these are avenues to look into to help you with this, to get there in the fastest way, all that we've said here. Okay, girl? All right. Much love. Okay. So, who's next?
It is 8:41.
It's 8:41. Holy shit. What didn't we talk about? All right. Let me look on here and see. I don't know. Oh, my God. What else?
Did you say nothing?
No, it said opening.
Oh. I was like, oh, my God, it answered your question.
Oh, it's crazy. I'm trying to get to my page here and pull up what else we were supposed to talk about. I want to make sure that I cover everything.
Mariah says thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Mariah. You're welcome, girl. All right, so we talked about genetically altered meat and the submarine incident, and then Bill Gates and vaccines and more. Pretty much, it's basically the same stuff, although, I don't know if many of you know that Bill Gates has bought out a whole shitload of farmland in America, and nothing's happening on that farmland. I'm not sure that any of you know about that. There's a reason for that, though. It'll be interesting to see what else happens with all of that. But what's really interesting, too, is how Bill Gates has become worshipped, not unlike the Kardashians, worshipped, right? He is one of the fathers of technology, as was Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs, right? One of the fathers of that, just like IBM and those companies from, Silicon Valley, right? He's one of the fathers of technology. And here's where you have to ask yourself, what kind of crazy is this? He has his hand in fucking everything. Bill Gates thinks we should inoculate the people in Africa, and Bill Gates thinks we should do this, and Bill Gates involved in this, and Bill Gates bought this farmland. None of you think anything's wrong with that? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Here we have this guy who's a tech man who now is, masquerading or doing things that doctors should be doing. Do you see what I'm saying? Or people in a certain field should be doing. Not necessarily. Bill Gates. Do you understand that? So, and then, who is Bill Gates? Because he wrote this book and then he decides that the climate is all fucked up and this is the problems with the world. Who the fuck is Bill Gates to decide this? Who the fuck is he? Right? You got to say to yourself, what the fuck? Same thing. And then the people, they look up to him. Same thing with Elon Musk, man. Watch Elon Musk with the Twitter. 1 minute it's going to be free speech and now suddenly it's not. Right? Truth of God is always in what people do. So be aware of this. Be aware of this. There was a reason Steve Jobs didn't like Bill Gates. There totally was. Oh, don't worry about it, girl. Sophia hit the thing, and that's why we had a little bit of a shake, but don't even worry about it. Okay. So this is stuff to research, take a look at, this whole New World Order, all of this, what is it, WHO, just like our government has supposedly signed over, what did you say, Rachel, that was? Signed over for the next pandemic, our rights to the WHO so they can make the rules here and shut us down. Yeah. These are the things that are going on, that are in reference to the same shit I said to Sarah Sutra earlier. All these crazy shit and things are going on behind the scenes that the darkness is basically creating to happen or put into law or put into effect. And it's no joke. So just be aware of it, look into it, do your research so you know what the hell is really going on, right? Because it behooves us all to, and always talk to God. What's the truth here? Because there's just as much crap as there is, truth. Truth be told. Okay. And I think that pretty much wraps it up, and we'll probably get more into it in the future. And I'm sure many of you know that it's crazy. I just want to do a little piece that I want to share with you in terms of the vaccines. And I'm not talking about like the COVID-19 vaccines in general. I'm talking about all vaccines. All right. And what came in from Universe is I've had psoriasis since I was a little kid. And what came in from Universe is that it was the vaccines that I got when I was a child that created this deficit of poison in me. So pretty wild shit to create this to happen, right? An answer that I had been asking for years. But that was the catalyst of the straw that broke the camel's back. But remember, inside of us is all these metaphysical energy in our soul that is creating everything to happen out here. So if that's what happened to me, then I came in with that energy in my soul that needed to be healed, that will be healed in order to heal this in my physicality. They go hand in hand. What happens in here manifests out here. Mental health, physical health, spiritual health, happiness, all health. Everything that is health, and everything is health. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys, for coming to our show. Thanks for listening, and thanks for being a part of it. I'm not sure exactly what we'll be doing next week. We've got a lot of stuff going on location at the ocean front and other places too. And if we're going to be in your area, we will definitely let you know if I'm going to be there, and we're going to be there. We'll let you know, and I will post in the next few days when our next live is. I have to look at the schedule, see what's going on. Thanks for coming. If you can donate, please do. And thanks everybody for being our people. And we're going to change the world massively together from love. And thank you. God bless. We'll see you next week. All right. You got it, Soph?
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's down. I think.
Here?
Yeah.